Guess who's back again.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the incredible Dora Akuyili. She was born in Benue State on the 14th of July 1954. She was the baby of 4 children in the family, and naturally her daddy absolutely adored her. She was a daddy's girl. All he wanted her to do was focus on her education and not do a thing around the house. He didn't want her to clean, he didn't want her to wash plates, nothing like that. And her mom and her siblings thought, this is unfair. They thought she wouldn't be able to learn the basic skills for life if she continued not doing any chores. So after a few conversations, they convinced her dad to allow her to go to her grandmother and learn some skills. So her grandmother at the time lived in the Sufia village in Anambra State. So her dad agreed reluctantly, and at the age of 10, Dora was off to the village to learn some skills. Although the village life was filled with lots of hard work, Dora was still focused on her education, and while she would do chores and walk to school, she was such an excellent student that she quickly became the top of her class. She kept up this excellence in her academics, completed her primary education in 1966 with distinction. A common thread for Dora all through her education and her life was distinctions and excellence. After secondary school, she earned a scholarship to university through the federal government of Nigeria. Her grades were so brilliant that she had a choice to either study between medicine and law. But after some thought, she decided to study pharmacy at the University of Nsukka, and she graduated again, distinctions. After graduating, she worked as a hospital pharmacist at the teaching hospital in Enugu. She continued on and she earned a PhD in ethnopharmacology in 1985. She also got a Best Student Award at university. Through her academic career, she published several journal articles and presented them at conferences.
You smart. You very smart. You a genius.
She quickly moved up the ranks in her work from lecturer to senior lecturer and then as a consultant pharmacologist. Needless to say, she knew a whole lot about drugs and medicine. Fast forward to the late 90s, early 2000, she had been working for several years with the Petroleum Trust Fund as their zonal secretary and was doing such great work in the community. However, she had a mysterious illness and was told that she needed operation in London. Bosses absolutely loved her and they wanted to support her. So they gave her the money to fund the entire operation and her travel, medical bills, everything. But when she got to London for this operation, she realized that the £12,000 that was budgeted and given to her for the surgery was not needed because she didn't need a surgery. She was misdiagnosed. It was like, I'm going to give my bosses back the money because it's not mine. So Dora went back to Nigeria and wrote a letter of thanks and gave it back to her boss, who was the chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund at the time. He was so shocked, shook. This honesty and integrity, I'm not sure he's used to that kind of integrity for himself. Replied by saying, I can't believe there are still Nigerians with integrity. Her boss, who was the chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund at the time and is the current president of Nigeria, Buhari. The word traveled fast at the top, and that she had been so honest and brought a whole £12,000 back. Anyway, before you know it, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, heard about this and he was so certain this was the woman for his next project. So this next project within the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration, NAFDAC, At this point, NAFDAC was not so much a household name, and they needed someone to come in and basically clean out the mess that was going on within the food and drug industry, in particular the drug industry in Nigeria. You see, at the time, there was an epidemic of people selling fake drugs to Nigeria, most especially vulnerable who would go to the shop to buy a simple pill for headache, and they would come back with something cooked up with poison. NAFDAC needed someone with integrity to help the cause of enforcing the regulations that were really not in place at the time, but and with the reputation of honesty and the incredible career that Dora had built up at this time, coupled with her passion to help others. She personally experienced the danger of fake drugs when her sister, who was diabetic, died due to doctors giving her fake insulin, which was contaminated many years before. So you see, at that time, Nigeria needed Dora. There was an epidemic going on. Counterfeit drugs, children were dying. At one point, 4 children died at a hospital because they were injecting them with water, not adrenaline.
Fake drug is such a bad news. It is mass murder. The evil of fake drugs cannot be compared with any. But unfortunately, the world is not giving it enough attention. As evidenced by the fact that, as I speak, there is no harmonized definition of counterfeit drug. Every country has their own definition. How can we carry out the fight with that kind of behavior or situation?
So for nearly 8 years, Dora was appointed as the Director General of NAFDAC. She brought awareness. She met with a whole lot of opposition, as there were people within the NAFDAC organizations even who took bribes and they were just out to do no good. She came into this job with very little to work with. By the time she was done, she had worked on regulation that people began to look for the NAFDAC number and expiry date to make sure it is truly certified and is an authentic drug. She led campaigns educating people and really expressing the dangers of not being cautious when buying or taking drugs. She was so inspiring and made a lot of Nigerians rethink what they were putting in their body. She not only set out to do a deep cleanse on the food industry, but she fired a whole bunch of people, employed people who were qualified and honest enough not to receive bribes. Through Dora's hard work, a secret ring of drug lords were exposed, trucks of fake drugs were seized. Among these were like drugs worth about 500 million naira. They also confiscated fake drugs and closed down clinics doing mad things, She did so much more that transcends beyond the drug industry and worked to bring quality and better standard in cosmetics, fortifying food, and made sure people knew the risks of using toxic bromate in bread. In 2008, she decided she was ready to become involved in politics and was appointed Minister of Information and Communication. She continued speaking up for Nigerians and working to create change, and no doubt she did make a remarkable difference by saving so many lives and basically spearheading the fight against corrupt drugs in Nigeria while inspiring so many other countries all over the world. Thank you so much for watching.